Hello. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is a show where you ask about it and I talk about it. So, yeah, what's up, you guys? Welcome, and welcome to episode 13. Episode 13, you guys. So, I hope everybody's doing really good this morning. I hope you woke up in a good mood. Because, hey, let's face it, you have another opportunity to make things good for yourself. All right. So, yeah, it's Wednesday. We're halfway through the fucking week, you guys. Hell yeah. And on that note, I want to get right to it, you guys. So yeah, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at People Talk Now. All right. Follow your girl. Follow the account. And all that goodness. Yeah, and if you always, uh, or if you have any questions, just make sure that you email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com, and I'd be glad to answer your questions. So, I decided that I was going to be talking about some things today that you know have been resonating with me, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So today I wanted to talk about first of all, what is minimalism, right? And I don't know if any of you out there have ever heard of this term, but I kind of wanted to bring this to light because it means something to me, and I wanted to share with you guys how it affected me this past weekend when I watched the documentary. It's called The Minimalist, and I have a lot of respect for the two authors of the book. I don't know if you guys heard of them. It's Joshua Milburn and Ryan. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. If I'm saying it correctly, I'm sure I will be corrected eventually. But Ryan Nicodemus, I think. But anyways, they made a documentary on how discovering what is basically important to you. And the reason why, I guess, it just stuck out so good to me was because it kind of like made me understand a certain concept that it's just like it goes way more beyond recognizing our homes and lives, but it's kind of teaches you and kind of guides you to be more effective. And not only just that, I'm like starting to understand that minimalism goes into so many other aspects of life, that it spills over into so many other aspects of our lives, that it helps you combat with like mental illness of all different types of degrees and severity, from anxiety to schizophrenia and back, like all types of stuff. You know what I mean? Because by you decluttering your home, right, and by you getting rid of all this unnecessary things, you basically, you're basically lowering the distractions and things that trigger you inside of your own home, inside of your own space, your bedroom, your car, wherever you have things there. And you could actually be positively more impacted in a good way. And it gives you the chance to kind of tune out any unnecessary noise in your life. And it kind of just starts to change you for the better. And, just seeing this documentary this past weekend, and just like, I watched it like 2 times, and because I liked this so much, 2 times on the same day, by the way. And, oh my goodness, my cat Luna is sneezing. Bless you, Luna. So yeah, you guys, so I wanted to kind of share with you guys 5 things that I feel could definitely help you, the listener, if you're definitely trying to, if you're at this point in your life, because I feel like I've reached that point in my life where I'm starting to realize that I don't really need to buy as much as I did before. Like, and I don't need things in the way that it is being sold on this marketing industry, and the way it's sold to us through ads. And fuck, let's not forget Black Friday, you guys. To me, like, my best description of Black Friday is like the movie The Purge. But if you find that you're in this place in your life where you're just trying to find true peace of mind, and you realize that you just don't need anything to truly be happy, then this is the right podcast for you. You've showed up to the right place. So you got to give yourself some props for that. So first of all, by decluttering your space, right? Like, say you start with your bedroom, your kitchen, your living room, wherever. By doing that, you're doing the same thing for your mind. And I know you're like, I don't understand what you mean by that, Vanessa. Well, first of all, every time that you look at something, all right, that is outside of you, like an object, whether it's a book, a pan that you never use, it's just been there for who knows how many years, or this corner in your closet, maybe you've had certain things there and you've had them there for a long time and you just keep putting it off. It doesn't matter that if you tell yourself, like, okay, this isn't bothering me, it's not a big deal to me. What it does for you mentally when you see it, it's taking up space in your brain because you acknowledge the fact that it's there, period. Whether you say it bothers you or not. And not even just that, like, this kind of overabundance of consumerism, it affects you. It affects your peace. And if you're really trying to have peace and clarity, trust me when I say that getting rid of everything and just making sure that you have the very little things in your life that truly serve a purpose, it's going to start allowing you to think more clearly, and you kind of won't be bombarded with, I don't know if you guys ever heard this term, sensory information. And that's kind of when your brain's just like, yo, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, this is like, it's too much, like too much stuff going on, because it doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, the fact that you're looking at all these things around you, they're stimulating you. And imagine if you're a busy person already, like you work, you have kids, or, you have dance class, whatever you're into, it will affect you. And that's the crazy thing, because every time we look at something, especially if it's in our space and it's cluttering, it can trigger thoughts and memories. And while necessarily, like, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, well, what's the bad thing about that? There's nothing bad about it. It can be complete and utter hell for somebody who's dealing with mental illness. You know what I mean? And like, it's just not a good thing. And if you could basically stop yourself from being overstimulated caused by having just too much stuff when you don't need it. Like, if you find yourself going into your closet, going into your kitchen, looking in your cabinets, you open a certain drawer and you're just like, holy shit, like, I don't need any of this. Like, this certain thing doesn't even, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is it here? If you find yourself asking yourself that, you don't even need it in the first place, because I feel like you will live a better life by just knowing that what you have serves a purpose. And it was crazy. Like, the moment after I watched this documentary, I was so crazy, you guys. Like, I felt something inside of me change. It's kind of like when I first decided that I was going to go vegan. The same thing, same feeling. And so I knew it was right. And I want to get rid of so much. I was so inspired by some of the people that I saw in this documentary. People, a woman that she did it's called the Project 333, and basically she wore 33 pieces of articles, 33 articles of clothing for 3 months, and then she ended up prolonging it for a year. And basically, like, nobody noticed, and she had a really good job, and nobody even noticed, and it's just crazy because how many of us don't face that thing where we just compulsively buy, or just because every month or every other 6 months or something's trending and you're just like, ooh, and the way that it's sold to us, it's so appealing. You just want to fucking go and buy it. You're like, I got to have that. But no, you actually don't. That's the crazy part. Like, it's just teaching us that we're to never be satisfied. It's like we're never fucking satisfied. And I guess me seeing that made me say, like, damn, like, getting rid of a huge amount of material possessions, I know it may seem like, holy shit, I'm losing a part of you, like, or you're losing a part of yourself. But it's like, to me, it's like a step in you finding yourself. And that's kind of what it felt, honestly. Like, that's kind of what it felt like when I saw that. I was like, wow, like, I honestly, truly want to start discovering, like, what truly, truly is happiness. Like, you can eat good, you can work out, you can have the support of your family, but then there's this fucking other whole life, like consumerism, like, that nobody ever talks about. And when you get to that point when there's no longer so many things around you to distract you from who you truly are, I feel like the most enlightening and self-discovery type of moments are going to start taking place. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but to me, it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? It makes sense to me. Because why would you want to keep your mind busy with useless things that seem like a good way to cope with, whatever, but like, you buy something and you get that little moment of stimulation, you're like, oh yes, I bought these new shoes, or like, oh yes, I got these new Gucci slippers, or whatever the hell. I don't even know what the hell people buying these days, but or the newest iPhone. And sure, you get that little stimulation at the moment. You're just like, yes, it's new, it's a new thing. Yeah, I'm gonna show it off. But it's kind of like, do you really need it? Is it necessary that you upgrade every month? Like, do you understand what they are doing to you? Do you understand what is happening? And, like, you need to see the deeper meaning of what's going on, because these effects are only temporary. It will never truly satisfy you unless you learn to basically be without these things, and to really, truly be in the quiet and listen to yourself and find out what you actually really need, and what actually serves a purpose for you. You know what I mean? So, in the long run, knowing who you are is the best goddamn thing that you could do for yourself. I don't know why I'm pounding on my desk right now, but I'm just all passionate right now. I'm passing the passion. Yo, I should make a t-shirt to that, passing the passion. um, and it's like a lot of things. Like, I hear a lot of talk about people suffering from different types of mental illness, and you know, it's like, to a certain degree, this these industries, like the commercials that are being played, and the way that they try to sell to our kids, to our family, everywhere where we step, whether you're fucking driving on the freeway, you see giant ass billboards, you see car lots, advertising cars, and you see commercials, you see food being advertised in the way it is. And it's like, we're just consuming. We've become people that are just consuming. Like, people ask, why do I feel like shit? But you're constantly consuming something, not because it nourishes you, but because we are addicted to the flavors, right? And I say we because, I once was addicted to those flavors as well. I don't know if I told any of you guys, but I myself have been a victim of addiction. And I recently, it's been about a month, I would say it's been about a month, maybe over a month, that I completely quit coffee. And it was a good decision for me because I realized that it didn't serve a purpose for me. Like I didn't even like it. I think I was just drinking it, these fucking Starbucks coffees, just because iced coffees, just because I enjoy the flavor. And now over a month later, I'm just like, yo, I actually feel pretty fucking good, like without that. So it's good because I've been eating cleaner and all that, and my mental clarity is just becoming better. And I feel more focused, honestly, without drinking the coffee because I finally got to this point where I asked myself, I'm like, yo, do you even like this shit? Like, because you really don't. Like, you're just drinking it because it tastes good, It's like a good flavor, but it doesn't, nothing for you, it serves no purpose. So just understand that when you become aware of your true self, it'll kind of help you towards whatever kind of recovery and kind of give you the necessary kind of fire to just carry you through whatever it is that you need to carry through with, like kind of carry on type of thing. And another thing that I wanted to bring to light is that focus on what's important, guys. Focus on what's important. After watching this documentary this past weekend, it's like this light switch turned on, or maybe the light switch was always on, like I described it to my husband. I was telling him, I'm like, you ever feel like you had the idea there all along, the light was maybe a little dim, but then like you saw this bit of information, or it's kind of like when one of your good friends comes over and shoots the shit with you, and they're just like, hey, and like they have that good talk with you and you feel really inspired and you feel really loved. And that's kind of what it felt like. It kind of felt like after I saw this, somebody came over and just fucking gave me a tight hug. And they were like, hey, look, listen, I know this has been going on in your head for a while. And guess what? You got this, girl. You could do this. And I was just like, shit, yeah. So this weekend coming up, I got definitely a lot of ideas of things that I'm going to get rid of. Yeah, I definitely want to get rid of a lot of things because something happened. I realized that I don't need a huge abundance of space to do what I need to do. I realized that I don't need an insane amount of clothing to be who I am. I don't need an insane amount of shoes. I don't need a lot, to be honest. Because if push comes to shove and, say a fire breaks out in my house, that's the thing. The only thing I want to worry about is the safety of my family and getting out alive. Last fucking thing I want to worry about is having to run back in because of some item that I feel maybe holds any type of value just because of money or because of what it is, And like I just don't want that. Like you don't want that feeling of anything holding you back. It's like you're letting go, Because it's just oh, excuse me. When you have less things, you have less distractions. So it's so easy to lose focus, you guys, when you're surrounded by reminders of other things you could or should be doing. You know what I mean? With the freedom to focus, you begin to remove the inner clutter from your mind. And like I was telling you, when you look at something, it takes up space in your mind, and you got to look at it that way. So you have the option to find a place in your home, you know what I mean, that you no longer feel torn in a dozen different directions, which will in turn work wonders for your mental health. I'm just putting that out there because I've done that recently in my own workspace, in my own bedroom, and it's an amazing feeling, you guys. The more I get rid of, it sounds crazy, like the more I get rid of, the more materialistic things I just let go, and like the more open my space is, and not too much stuff on the walls, like, and I'm gonna keep you guys updated because I'm gonna continuously like um continue to like declutter and just rid of more things. And I've always been kind of a neat freak, you know what I mean? But it's so crazy, man. We don't even realize like the power of these of this consumerism and like how bad it's actually gotten. And I would seriously suggest if you guys haven't seen Minimalism, I think it's on Netflix. I think you can also watch it on iTunes, I believe, or what is it? The Amazon, Google Play, Shit, I think there's even might even be a DVD, I think. But yeah, it's amazing. I think you can even watch it on YouTube as well, you guys. But it just kind of teaches you to focus on truly what's important. You know what I mean? And once you get this focus back, right, from you just like getting rid of all these unnecessary shit that's just like not even serving a purpose, and you have to really ask yourself, right? Like even if it's something just been in your room for so long and you just it's just there, right? And you can't even think of one reason why you would use it. You have to ask yourself, can I learn something from this? Can I share something? So just based on this like new sense of discovering yourself, you might even start writing a book, learn a new language, and you just might start doing different things, you know what I mean? Because you don't know how this is going to change you. And everybody knows, like when we feel accomplished about something, it kind of just leaks into other areas of our lives. You know what I mean? Because you start to feel positive and have the time and the space and the focus necessary for you to accomplish those certain things can start pushing you along the path towards a more peaceful life. And who doesn't want a peaceful life? Like I know I do. I'm just always trying to strive for a more peaceful life. So what is more? Like what is more? By tuning out the noise and focusing on what is important, you're going to soon realize that what truly matters and what does not matter. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like when you start removing yourself from situations that are not beneficial to you, you'll start to notice that it has the potential to be very healing, and it kind of will help you reconnect with yourself on a deeper level. And that's kind of what I feel like what started happening to me, because once that light turned fully on, um I definitely felt like this sense of relief because I was just like, holy shit, like I finally and came across something that it it makes sense to me. And I was so moved by it that I wanted to share it with my family and my son, my son who's 10 years old. I told him like, hey, you know what? You need to watch this because I feel like this is something that's affecting a lot of families all over the world. And it's very bad. Like when you see it, you watch the documentary, you realized how much every single one of us is affected by this, to the point where I was just like, yo, no, no, no to this, no to that. Like immediately, like you don't realize how much you waste uh because you feel this certain need to kind of keep up with certain trends, or just like, oh, you're just compulsively just buying things, just like, oh, what, it's on sale, oh, it's half off, oh, it's 70% off, and you just try to make some sort of excuse to justify why you need it, when really it's not a need, it's a want. You just want it, but you don't really need it because you can't find no true value as to what purpose it would actually serve by you having it. It's just one more thing, and then when the next best thing comes along, boom, you already forgot about that. It's another thing that's hanging around in your garage or hanging around your house, and you're just, again, it's taking up mental space. And who wants things taking up mental space other than the things that truly bring happiness to you? I know I wouldn't. Hell no. So when you start to get, when you start emptying your area where you live from unneeded clutter, guess what? You start creating an open space. And guess what? Obviously, the more space that you start to open up, the more peaceful and less constricting it kind of starts to feel. And not to mention that there is some evidence to basically suggest that a human mind is influenced by the distance between objects. And I suggest you look that up. We're in 2019, you guys. We're what, less than a month away from 2020. Yo, we have the power of the internet in our very hands. And I suggest we use it and start really finding out what the fuck is going on out there. But again, if you're like, yo, Vanessa, I don't have the time to find out what the fuck is going on out there, guess what? I got you. You ask me about it and we're going to talk about it. You best believe. Okay? So, making your home kind of feel more spacious, it is basically very beneficial and it's bound to be very healthy for your mental status. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to be clear headed? So when your home kind of starts to become, I don't know, what's a good term for it? Like kind of like a blank canvas. Then you can begin to unwind in whatever way you see fit instead of having to take care of your numerous of belongings and just knowing that they're there and you're just like, "Oh my god, oh, I got to clean this or I got to, when you find a constant mess, right? And this is kind of when it started hitting me, cuz I have kids. They make messes. I have a kitchen, I have a closet just like everybody else. I have a laundry room, a garage. And things get messy. I have a big family and things get messy, but then you start to realize like, holy shit. The reason why this is happening is because we have too much shit. Like we just have too much. And some people will be like, well, you should be grateful. No, it's not about being grateful. I am very much grateful for what I have. But I'm even more grateful for understanding now that I don't need any of it. Like, and people would be like, no, that's pretty intense. That's pretty severe to be like trying to live with only 30 items or, you know, you think like of all these luxuries, you think of a TV, you think of like whatever you have, your bed. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you like you got to just live on top of a rock and sleep under it and that's your life, unless you want to, then that's cool too, but I'm just saying the less we have, the better we are. And I've always told this to people. I used to say, you know what? My life was so amazing when I never had a phone. Like before, the age era of iPhones and things like that. Now I have like a Android phone, but even back when I had my iPhone, I was like, I was so much happier when I didn't have a phone. When people couldn't get in touch with me or, because it wasn't that because I'm trying to run for people. It was more like, yo, let's just do everything organically. Like, let's just communicate. Like, if you want to get in touch with me, get in touch with me. You know what I mean? I don't want even then that phone, like having to keep track of the phone and be like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like the stress that people feel now. Like people will I've seen people fucking panic at places. Like I've been in stores and people will panic the minute they think they've lost their phone. Like they're going batshit. Like they lost a toddler in the store. And I'm like, yo, you okay? It's like, yeah, man, I think I left my phone inside. And they're like running in. I'm like, no, holy shit, you're going to be fine. Like, I get it. Like, iPhones are expensive, but it's just like, think about that for a second. The fact that all that value that someone holds over the phone, when you really don't need it, a phone was it was intentionally, it was the sole purpose of it used to be just to be able to call and text people. But now it's just like you can run a whole goddamn business through your phone. And yeah, so I don't know why I went off the rails and off the deep end there with Jaws down below, but I'm just saying, you guys, like, you gotta just really think about not having so many numerous belongings on a daily basis because it it definitely is not beneficial for your mental health. You gotta take care of yourselves, guys. Another thing, according to a study that I was like reading about recently, it says that creating art reduces cortisol levels, which is one hormone that kind of contributes to stress, anxiety, and many other mental illnesses. So you got to think, using your space to your more clean space, more decluttered, wouldn't it be more beneficial to do things that are more enjoyable, to kind of release endorphins in your body, the chemicals in the brain that makes us feel good, you know? Like why wouldn't anybody want to do that? Instead of having like all these type of like visual things around you that kind of just begin to trigger all these unwanted thoughts, which a lot of us don't want to have, when we rather just focus on working and being happy with the things that make us happy. um you know, it's always better to make something new. And to me, it's like expressing yourself in all these creative ways. It's like a way to help recover from the deep lows of, all these mental conditions that are going around, and anxiety and depression, you know? Another thing about minimalism is that sometimes owning a lot of material things is incredibly tempting, and I get it, you know? I get it. Trust me, I get it. But it's kind of why most of us fall into consumerism so easily, because like I keep saying, the way that all these stores, I can mention a lot of stores at the top of my head. And that's kind of crazy that, kids nowadays would know, like small little children would know stores, the names of stores, better than they would probably know their ABCs. And that's kind of fucking scary, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's real scary. And so, we got to fight that little temptation that we get. And you have to ask yourself, one of the best things to do is ask yourself, come on, man, like, seriously, what am I using this for? Does it really serve a purpose bringing this into my house? What is the purpose? You don't need 5 TVs. You don't need, you know, um, the newest iPhone every month. Like, these are not like necessities. They're not, but they're being sold to us like you gotta have them, because if not, you're not in the up and up. You know what I mean? And I get it. Minimalism, like, I don't know if you guys have heard about it or you have already, and you're just like, oh my God, yes, I've been looking to declutter my garage, you know, my desk drawer. Everybody has a desk drawer at one point, or something that you have that it's just been a mess and it's been building up. And it's a tough decision to make, like getting rid of things, getting rid of stuff, because it's just like this letting go. Like, you start bargaining with yourself saying like, hey, we might need this another time and all this. But reality, all you need is, you know, some good food to eat, your family, like basically your health and happiness, everything else is just kind of a plus. You have a roof over your head and all these things, those are a plus. But it's just like when you start thinking about all the things that are being sold that we need to have in our house, like couches, coffee desk, all these things, which are things that are talked about in the documentary. Yeah, I really started thinking about it on a whole nother level, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, like we're being fucking bribed and sold and manipulated, man. And it's so scary. Like, but it's enlightening, like, to have seen this, because, like I said, it makes you think about a lot of things. So if you kind of decide like, hey, you know what, I'm going down this road and I'm going to follow through, not only will you be more at peace, but you're also going to be more in control of your own life, because that's how I felt. Like the minute I started getting rid of a lot of things, I started feeling more and more control, because the less things you have, the less things you have to keep maintaining, the less things that you have to worry about that are taking up mental space. Because when you have too much stuff, you're always thinking about either like, oh my God, I need to make sure I wash this, or you know, you're just always trying to keep track of it. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like, because you have this list of things that you have, and it's just there. It's taking up space. And to me, when I think of mental illness, and I know you guys are probably like, Vanessa, I thought we were talking about minimalism, but it's crazy because to me, it's a feeling of loss of control over like a lot of things. And that means I mean, it's not in all aspects of your life, but it can send you kind of going crazy, spiraling out. And, if you're already waking up and you're seeing all these things that you don't really need to see, like they serve no real purpose, like, of course, it's kind of like you got to do that so that you can gain some kind of control over certain aspects of your life. And that'll be really crucial for you and maybe somebody that that's just suffering from overly cluttered homes, or even the neatest person, which I consider myself a very neat person. I'm always cleaning, I'm always organizing. But then it hit me, right? It hit me when, you know, I started like being like, man, like, why do we have immense loads of laundry to wash or certain things? And then you start thinking, like, wait a minute, why the fuck do I have so many articles of clothing? Like, why do I need this? Like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need this much to be happy and to survive. And that's kind of where I'm at, I'm like, I'm trying to find the highest self of me. I kind of felt like Yoda right now saying that. But that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find me in her highest self possible, basically. And I know that I'm not going to get there by having an immense amount of things, because I don't need anything to be happy. And that's kind of where all this is leading to, that you basically, by not focusing your attention on all these material possessions, such as too many cool clothes and, oh, a new car that you really don't need, you're kind of able to face your problems more effectively, like head on. And there's basically not going to be no more distractions that allow you to deflect on what you feel like you have been acknowledging, what you should have been basically acknowledging all along. So basically, facing what's been weighing you down is the most important step towards like successfully just basically finding what it is that truly makes you happy. Because I remember as I was watching the documentary on, I remember hearing Ryan, I guess he took his friend Joshua out, and he was just like, yo, he's like, why are you so happy? And when he explained it to him why, when I heard that part, I was like, I want to be part of that, honestly. Like I do, and I want to tell other people about it, because living a minimalist kind of lifestyle will just do great things for your mental state. And it gives you more time, and who doesn't want more time? It gives you more space. Who doesn't want more space? It gives you clarity. Who doesn't want that? Freedom to kind of find your true self and fully kind of engage in everyday life. And I know you're like, well, I do that every day, but no, but you can do it even more than that. And kind of just starting towards like minimizing all of these things that you don't need in your life, whether it's clothes, a car, whether it's books, shoes, you name it, because we all have too much things that we probably don't need in our house. You know what I mean? When you really think about it, things that posters on walls, hats, watches, just things that we collect compulsively. Again, if you have, like they mentioned in the book, and like it said actually in the documentary, they said, I guess a guy on there, he says, well, I have a book collection, and, I love opening the books, and I love smelling them. I love flipping through the pages, and I like reading them, sharing them with friends. And the guy straight up told him, he's like, well, clearly those books serve a purpose for you. So that's an example of like, clearly they make you very happy. So they serve a purpose, so he's like, you should probably keep your books, but of course, like Joshua said, he's like, you should try to always minimalize, like after you read them, like if you've already like don't really use it anymore, don't keep it just because you just want to collect, because that's how like clutter starts. And so for me, that was very like, it was very spot on, you know? And it's kind of like, I get it. Minimalism is not really a cure, you know, it's not going to solve all of your life's problems if you're fighting like a serious mental illness. You know, maybe that's not exactly like uh gonna solve everything, and maybe you should seek out a professional, if you know what I mean. But again, it does help you in your everyday environment to just be, it's kind of makes it more pleasant, and who wouldn't want that, you know what I mean? uh and I know what some of you guys are probably thinking, like, Vanessa, becoming a minimalist may seem like an overwhelming task. I get it, but it doesn't have to be. Start small. Start being very mindful if you buy anything new. That's kind of where it starts. It has no like kind of predetermined length of like where you're gonna end up, if it's long term, short term. Just always keep the benefits of this lifestyle in mind, and stop simply going through the motions. And that's, you know, you're gonna end up on track. You know, just be on your shit, you guys. Just be on your shit. All right, be on it. Be on it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm like totally going up on going off the deep end here, but it's always so fun to talk to you guys. Yeah, I would honestly highly suggest for you guys to check it out. It's really good. I actually watched it this past weekend on Netflix, but I would actually suggest for you guys to watch it and, you know, drop me an email at people talk now at hotmail.com. And hey, you know, hit me up, even on Instagram, DM me, message me, you know, let me know what you thought about it, because I really do want to hear what you guys think about it. You know, how it affected you, or, you know, or if it did nothing at all, then just be like, you know what, it actually, Vanessa, I'm sorry to break your tiny little heart, but it did nothing for me. I was not impressed. Okay. So you guys, as you guys always know, first of all, before I go off on to the joke of the day and the word of the day, because you guys know that I like to leave you guys with a very you know, a very passionate ending. No, just kidding. No, I really like to, you know, leave you guys thinking, and I hope that something that I've said throughout this podcast, and I will come back to this again. This is definitely just part one of the minimalism talk. I want to get more in depth with this again in the future. So we will come back to this, and I'll definitely give you guys more time to you know, message me and talk to me about it and tell me what you think after you've seen the movie. And yeah. So I always like to leave you guys with the joke of the day and the word of the day, so that way, I don't know, you guys can learn a new word and we can laugh about it, and just you know, even if it's a really silly word or it's really dumb, at least it's us just enjoying each other's company. So, of course, I'm gonna start off with the word of the day. So the word of the day is bon vivant. I wonder if I'm saying it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that. See, can't really hear that.
Bon vivant.
Ooh, bon vivant. So apparently, a bon vivant is a sociable person with refined tastes. Ooh, okay. Shoot. Um, I wouldn't. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm a social person, but I'm not about refined taste. I mean, I do eat a lot of vegetables. I know that. So here we go. Joke of the day. It's probably not the best. Probably not the best. Screw it. So, God. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm just like looking through my list of jokes here and I'm just laughing because it's like, oh my gosh. Who honestly comes up with some of these jokes? Um, ooh, okay, okay. I was really trying to decide which one I was gonna tell you guys here, but I think I found a good one. I think I found a really good one. Ooh. I don't know what's going on here, but it's kind of let me see. Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Here's the joke of the day. A policeman stops a lady and asks for her license. He says, "Lady, it says here that you should be wearing glasses." The woman answered, "Well, I have contacts." The policeman replied, "I don't care who you know, you're getting a ticket." Oh my goodness. So, yeah, that's kind of fudged up. Pretty corny, but it's funny in its own way, you know. Just guess depends depends on how you say it. But yeah. So you guys, I hope that you guys bon vivant, all your friends, you become a social person with refined taste. And please don't tell a policeman that you're wearing contacts because that you have contacts because he's basically gonna still give you a ticket. So I hope we learned something from that. And yes, you guys, please, I highly suggest that you all go out and watch the documentary, The Minimalism, a documentary about the important things so you can start seeing that you don't need a lot to be happy. If anything, you need nothing at all but yourself. So, on that beautiful note, if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram, I am on Instagram as People Talk Now. And yes, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, if you would like to be a co-host, or maybe you'd like to get an interview in, you guys email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com. And as always, you guys, have a kick-ass Wednesday, you guys. Bye.